10 ways to resist the urge to self-harm. If you have a history of self-harm, also known as non-suicidal self-injury (NSSI), you know the urge to hurt yourself can strike unannounced or in response to certain triggers. Because of that, it's always helpful to have alternatives to self-harm and a toolbox of coping mechanisms that you can tap into to help you resist the urge when it hits. That can be especially true now amid the new coronavirus pandemic. Coping with anxiety, loneliness, depression, and feeling overwhelmed is difficult at the best of times, but on top of that, all this social isolation might have left you without your usual resources and support systems just when you need them most. While self-harm is best addressed with the help of a professional long-term, there are some coping mechanisms and alternatives to self-harm that experts recommend to help you deal with intense urges in the moment. These mechanisms are often based on cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT), which helps people reframe their thoughts and actions, and dialectical behavior therapy (DBT), a form of CBT that is focused on distress tolerance and emotional regulation. While there's no one best way to treat self-harm therapy-wise, CBT and DBT are mainstays. Here, we asked experts for a few strategies to keep in mind for the next time you need them. As with any mental health advice, not every tip will be helpful for you personally, so reflect and experiment to find out what works best for you. 1. First, understand why you engage in self-harm. People self-harm for a few different reasons, and understanding your motivation and triggers can help you choose the coping strategies from this list that will be most helpful for you. We see that when people engage in self-harm, they generally describe feeling one of two urges: either they have so much emotion that it is overwhelming and they self-harm to get a release, or they feel nothing, emotional numbness, and in the desire to feel something, they will self-harm. Nina Vassan, MD, MBA, clinical assistant professor of psychiatry at the Stanford School of Medicine, tells Self. Dr. Vassan is also the founder and executive director of Brainstorm, the Stanford Lab for Mental Health Innovation, where she and her team provide consultation to tech companies to help create resources related to self-harm. As a heads up, I'm an intern at Brainstorm too. According to a 2014 investigative study by the Canadian Psychiatry Association, other reasons people self-injure include wanting to punish themselves, to create physical signs of emotional distress, and to relieve anger. Whatever motivates you to self-harm, you might find you can satisfy an urge in a way that's less harmful. Understanding why you engage in self-harm also means learning to recognize what feelings and situations might trigger the urge so you're better prepared to use your coping mechanisms, according to Mayo Clinic. That way, you can make a long-term plan for how to deal and make different decisions in the moment of distress. 2. Shock your system with something cold. Feeling an intense physical sensation can distract you from your emotional distress, says Dr. Vassan. For example, holding a cube of ice in your hand and letting it slowly melt with your body heat can make you feel calm. For some, the stinging and pain of the freezing cold also satisfy the urge for the pain they seek through self-harm, but in a much safer way. Whether the goal is to achieve calm, activate your senses, or produce a feeling of pain without causing yourself actual damage, other cooling activities like taking a cold shower, drinking cold water, and consuming a cool food like something with mint might be helpful alternatives. 3. Or get warm and cozy. The feeling of warmth can help you stay calm and grounded. When people feel intensely anxious or overwhelmed, their bodies can show signs of it, whether it is higher heart rate or blood pressure, or feelings of tightness in their chest. Gowri Aragam, MD, clinical instructor at Harvard Medical School and psychiatrist at Massachusetts General Hospital, tells Self. For certain people, warming up or feeling contained can physically calm their body down and release naturally relaxing chemicals, which in turn helps them feel calmer and more in control as well. There are plenty of ways to feel warm or cozy. You might want to take a hot shower, cuddle in a blanket, eat a bowl of comforting soup, or sip a cup of warm tea. The warmth could even be more emotional than physical, like cuddling your pet if that brings you comfort. 4. Loosen up your body. Intense emotions can lead to the feeling of tension building up in your body, so loosening up and moving your body can help. Not to mention, it can provide distraction and encourage healthier habits. Helping my patients find their own safe way to release or cope with their intense emotions in order to prevent self-harm behaviors is a natural part of the healing process, Dr. Aragam. It helps them feel better about themselves and helps decrease the feelings of shame that are often associated with self-harm. Usually, moving your body might include things like going for a walk, but depending on your comfort level, exercising outside during the pandemic, even in a safe, socially distanced way, you might opt for indoor exercise instead. If you need a place to start, here's how to exercise at home and actually like it. But keep in mind that you don't have to exercise in the traditional sense. Stretching, dancing around your room, or whatever else works for you are all solid options. 5. Release your emotions with another action. Taking your emotions out on other objects can also be a great way to escape from the sharp and heavy emotions you may feel. Oftentimes the act of self-harm ends up serving as an immediate way of releasing that tension in the body, says Dr. Aragam. Our goal in treatment is to find healthier ways to release that tension and, in turn, feel better without the harmful physical impact. As safer alternatives to releasing this tension, Dr. Aragam recommends things like destroying pieces of paper, punching a soft object like a pillow or clay, or loudly banging pots and pans. You might also find it helpful to channel your emotions into something creative, like art or music. 6. Focus on your breathing. Deep breathing not only has multiple physical benefits, like engaging your parasympathetic nervous system to help you relax physically, but it can also calm you down mentally. Taking even a few seconds to slow down and take some deep breaths can have a crucial impact and help you focus a little more on the powerful emotions you may be experiencing, according to Dr. Vassan. She also recommends deep breathing and guided meditation as a long-term practice to make it more helpful in the moment. For beginners, Dr. Vassan suggests downloading Calm and Headspace and trying the free versions of both for at least a week. The more you practice, the more easily you can rely on these tools when you really need them. 7. Write your way through the urge. Writing a few words about how you are feeling or just general thoughts is helpful in self-coping. Rachel Hoffman, Ph.D., therapy led at the NYC-based mental health studio for women and non-binary folks Real, tells Self. It allows clients to process through their thoughts and feelings. Try writing down what self-harm activity you want to engage in instead of acting on it. Or express your deepest, innermost thoughts to get them out of your head and onto the page. You can even just draw, scribble, or write down emotive words instead of bothering with full sentences. If it helps, rip up your paper after writing down your struggles. On the other hand, you might find it more helpful to write down things that help you feel the opposite of what you are feeling. What makes you happy? What makes you joyful? Hoffman recommends keeping a gratitude journal to center you in moments of distress, whether by adding to it or reading previous entries. 8. Use an app designed to help you cope with self-harm. Sometimes in the moment it's difficult to recall coping mechanisms and activities that help you. Luckily, there's a lot of free technology out there to help you access them. Calm Harm is a popular option because of its wide variety of prompts and ideas based on what you need when the urge to self-harm arises, such as comfort or distraction. Similarly, Self-Heal prompts you with alternate activities like writing on yourself with a red marker instead of hurting yourself. My Shiny Thing, on the other hand, provides distractions like funny, cute, or exciting videos based on how you rate your current distress. You might even be able to find help on sites and apps you already use every day. For example, last year Pinterest launched a new product developed with Stanford Brainstorm that directs users who search for self-injury terms to coping exercises that will help them alleviate some of their struggles. There are a lot of options out there. Choose one that you vibe with for whatever reason and lean on it for support when you need ideas. 9. Talk to a friend or loved one. Similar to other distraction-based coping mechanisms on this list, sometimes reaching out to a friend just to talk can be what you need to get out of your own head until the urge passes. You don't even need to be specific about what you're going through. Sometimes the distraction of random conversation can be enough. While you don't have to talk to them about your feelings if you don't feel ready, telling a trusted friend what you're going through can help you cope with your urges to self-harm too. The Mayo Clinic even recommends appointing a specific loved one to be the person you contact when the urge to self-harm arises. Moreover, it can also be a powerful first step towards seeking professional help if you haven't already. The most important thing you can do for yourself is asking for help when you need it, Dr. Vassan. People are out there and want to help you get better. Reach out to a loved one like your best friend, partner, or parent about your distressing thoughts. 10. Connect with a professional resource. While the suggestions above can be quite useful in helping you cope with intense emotions, they are not an alternative to professional care, especially if you are feeling unsafe. If your thoughts are dark or you are concerned about your safety, immediately reach out to the medical community, Dr. Vassan says. Call your primary care doctor, contact a psychiatrist or therapist, or connect with a therapy hotline or app. Even if you're not in immediate crisis, it's worth thinking about addressing your history of self-harm with a professional if you haven't already. Having a professional in your corner will not only equip you with more tools like these, but it could also give you a safe space to explore your emotions and experiences. You shouldn't have to do this alone. If you're thinking about hurting yourself or just need someone to talk to right now, you can get support by calling the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK 8255 or by texting HOME to 741-741, the crisis text line. And here is a list of international suicide helplines if you're outside the United States.